Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope your morning is going great. Mine's been awesome so far, and today we have a ton of juice to cover. We're going to be starting the video out with XL2 and Logix. So as many of you guys do know, XL2 has been going through some crazy stuff lately, pretty much kicking half their roster in order to pick up talent just from New York. They were criticized a ton for this, specifically for kicking players like Goliath and Mangachu, who have been staples on this team for a long time, and that they kicked those guys instead of kicking the Korean players on the team, when they say the reason of kicking those guys was to get more local talent, even though those guys are way more local than the Koreans. So yeah, New York Excelsior, they've been taking a lot of criticism recently, but there was a shining light through all of it, and that was that they did keep Logix on their roster. Well, not anymore, guys, because Logix is now looking for a team. So in the beginning part of this video, we are going to be taking a look at Logix, what happened with him and XL2, why he's not on the roster, and what he can do in the future. Is he going to make an Overwatch League team? What Overwatch League team can use him? So if you're excited to hop into that, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more daily Overwatch League content. As well as that, guys, if you love the daily uploads on my channel and keeping up with the Overwatch League, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. Also, don't forget, in the second part of this video, we are talking about Dafran, and is he the best aimer in the Overwatch League? So be sure to stay tuned for that, watch the whole video, and now let's go and talk more in depth about Logix and what he's gonna do. This is what he posted on Twitter yesterday. Free agent looking for the next contender season, looking for EU/NA opportunities, Discord or email me. So the interesting thing here is that Logix didn't even say that he's looking for a team in Overwatch League, as many players do who are looking for a team. But I think it goes without saying, obviously Logix wants to join the Overwatch League, and obviously he is good enough for the Overwatch League. And I've covered it on my channel in the past. He would have been in the Overwatch League with the Washington DC roster if he would have taken a smaller offer, but he asked for more money. And in the end, yes, it did hurt him, and he ended up not joining the Overwatch League, and I do feel like it probably hindered his other opportunities because he spent a lot of time trialing with that DC roster, and when he told them that he didn't want to join, they decided to just go with Corey, their second option, and that left Logix sitting there with like no time to join any other teams. But let's forget about that. Let's talk more about Logix and his future. First, I want to take a look at a tweet that Mangachu made in response to Logix LFT post. Down below, he said this: "Without a doubt, one of the hardest working players I've had the privilege to play with. Logix is an amazing teammate who plays at a top level consistently. Any team in Overwatch League would be extremely lucky to have him. Having him in contenders would be like a gift from God." Wow, those are like amazing words. Mangachu is literally praising Logix right now. And I definitely think that says a lot about him because Mangachu also is a hardworking, dedicated player. Also, taking a look at another reply to this tweet, we have Raucus from the Houston Outlaws saying, "Come back to Overwatch League, sad face." Then Logix responds and he says, "Doing all I can, sad face." So Logix is doing what he can to get back into the Overwatch League. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about what teams can utilize him and what teams Logix should join. The first one that comes to my mind, which I did make a tweet about yesterday when this whole situation went down, is the Boston Uprising. I think the Boston Uprising is one of the only teams in the league right now that Logix could join and become a full-time starter at the very beginning. I feel like Boston could benefit so much off of having Logix on their roster. They're currently one of the only Overwatch League teams with only 2 DPS players. And honestly, looking at their 2 DPS players, it's a bit underwhelming. The first DPS player is Colorhex, who comes from New Zealand and competed in the Oceanic region and pretty much has no experience other than competing inside his own region in Australia and New Zealand, which, to be honest, isn't that great of the competition, and I do think Logix would definitely be an upgrade over him. Then their second DPS player is Blase, who is kind of a wild card. He could be good, might be another Dreamcasper type story, or he could just be an underperformer like Mistakes. But overall, just looking at Blase and Colorhex, I would say that they are going to be one of the worst DPS duos in the entire league. And some do say, yo, you should trust Boston Uprising and Huck. He did a great job scouting this unknown talent in Season 1, and they're right, he did do a great job. But let's remember, going into Season 1, I was giving praise to Dreamcasper and Striker. I said Striker was extremely talented. He had just been on some bad teams in Korea, but he showed that individual potential. As for Colorhex, he's looked decent in the Australian scene, but that's it. Like, that is nothing compared to competing on a terrible Korean team while popping off, similar to Fleta when he was on Flash Lux, the worst team in all of Korea. So I'm a little worried about the Boston Uprising DPS players. I talked about this in my power rankings video. Logix would bring a ton of value to this roster, and I think he would bolster them from like a rank 17 or 18 all the way up to like rank 10 or 11, even better, because they do have some of those pieces that made them really good in season 1, like Gamsu and Note. So Boston Uprising could be a hot destination for Logix. Moving on to the next team that could utilize him, obviously we have the San Francisco Shock. You know, they're stacking DPS players left and right. No, I'm just kidding. We all know San Francisco Shock has way too many starting DPS players. The next serious team I've seen being thrown out there a lot is the LA Valiant, who I definitely agree with. I think Logix would add a lot of depth that is needed to that roster, especially as a hit scan player. With them getting rid of Soon, that leaves them with 3 DPS players, KSF, Agilities, and Bunny, who were all there throughout most of season 1 along with Soon. So I kind of see no harm in them signing Logix. It would kind of be like a good replacement for Soon, just in case things don't pan out with like Bunny or KSF on hit scan. And who knows, Logix could just in general be better than both those guys on hit scan. I think it would be a smart addition by the LA Valiant. I know there's also rumors out there saying that Kareev is moving on over to play DPS full time, which could be true, might not be true, who really knows. But at the end of the day, if you want a team that performed as well as the LA Valiant in season 1, I think the best replacement for Soon would have been Logix. Again though, who knows, maybe Logix wouldn't have been the full-time starter and Bunny or Kareev are going to be that hit scan player that the team needs. But I think overall it would be a very safe play to just sign Logix now if I were LA Valiant, just in case you do need somebody like him. And then the last team that I think could really benefit off of having Logix is the Atlanta Reign. Now I know they have Dafran, who's a hit scan god, and we are going to be talking about how incredible his aim is, and if he does have the right mentality, he could be one of the best players in all of Overwatch League, but that is if he can have the right mentality. I feel like Logix would be a really good backup to Dafran, at least give him some time off when needed, because having Dafran on your team is going to be very risky. No matter how much we love him and how well we want to see him do in the Overwatch League, the fact of the matter is that he has had some major mental issues in the past. So a very, very smart move by Atlanta, who definitely has the money for it, would be to easily sign Logix maybe to a 2-way contract. That way you can also use him on your academy team, but then bring him up to the Overwatch League just in case something does happen with their friend. And honestly, I feel like this would be an amazing idea for Atlanta because they really could use him on their academy roster. He's such an amazing player and would definitely be able to help them out there, and then eventually when they need him in the Overwatch League, they can easily call him up. It's like a real nice safety net play for the Atlanta Reign just in case Dafran doesn't pan out how they want him to. So at the end of the day, I feel like the two best options for Logix and other teams would be Atlanta and Boston. They're perfect matches for what they need, and we all know Logix is an incredible player and he would definitely help them out in many ways. Valiant is definitely a possibility and he could help them out if needed, but I kind of feel like it's a little unnecessary because they do have 3 DPS players and possibly Kareev. Other than that though, yeah, some teams could use him. He'd be nice on Washington Justice, but they already passed up on him. He'd be nice on Philly or Paris, but both of those teams already kind of have their slots filled and they don't need backups. And then the rest of the other teams don't really have Western players, so it wouldn't make sense to sign one guy who speaks English and the rest of your team is either Chinese, Korean, or whatever it is. So right now, those are Logix's best options in the Overwatch League. Be sure to leave a comment down below letting me know if you guys think Logix is good enough for these teams, if they should pick him up, or just what you think. Now let's move on to the second topic of the video, which is Dafran. Because honestly, Dafran is like one of the biggest wild cards going into this season. There's so many possibilities with him. He could either become one of the best players in the entire league, or he could easily mount down and kind of have a situation like XQC and get kicked out of the league. Or who knows, maybe he doesn't have any meltdown and he doesn't become one of the best players and he's just average amongst all the other Overwatch League gods. My point is, there are so many possibilities for Dafran and nobody knows what's going to happen, which is making it so damn exciting. There is one thing we do know about Dafran though, and that is that he is so damn good at tracking. It's incredible. Yesterday I was watching a stream and I saw this play happen, and I just thought to myself, I can't remember seeing any clips or any players just track this good. Let me just go ahead and roll the clip for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about.
What the fuck? Give Ryan, Nano Ryan.
Right low. We'll chase. Nice. Oh my god.
Get fucking rolled.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like, I don't even understand how good his tracking can be. It's like so effortlessly too. It seriously looks like Dafran's aimbotting. His mouse just floats and like lands on the targets and just locks onto them and doesn't move after. Like, think about it. Do you guys remember watching Prophet, Sabiolbi, Carpe, and the Overwatch League on Tracer tracking this well? I don't. Don't get me wrong though, Sabiolbi, Prophet, Carpe, Striker, those guys all have incredible aim on Tracer. But when we watch them, they have like very shaky aim and sometimes they do lose track of the enemy. It's not often, but they do. As for Dafran, when he plays Tracer, it's like the perfect gliding motions and it looks like he just locks onto them and never loses track. Dafran really does have like insane potential going into this season. I am so damn excited to see what he can do. And I hope nothing goes wrong with him in his mental state and Atlanta can ride through the sunset and he can just absolutely carry them and become one of the best players ever. That is the perfect story and I hope it's written. Also, to be clear, when we're talking about like the best aimers in the game, I know there's specific aiming, but in this video I'm mainly focusing on tracking, which is like Tracer, Soldier, and Zarya, which I do think are all going to be some of the best heroes for Dafran going into this season. As we do know, Dafran has been playing Zarya for Atlanta Reign in their scrims, so that's definitely something exciting. I do think Dafran is going to be a starter for the Atlanta Reign going into season 1, because right now the meta does look like it's good for him. Zarya is obviously there for goats, so whenever they want to run goats, he will be in play. And then Tracer and Soldier are both also on the rise, so if there's a Tracer or Soldier in the meta, Dafran is going to be playing that, no doubt. But if it turns more into like a hit scan meta where we're playing a lot of McCree, a lot of Widowmaker, then I don't really see Dafran starting over Nalir or Erster. I feel like they will be better at those heroes. We have seen on Dafran's stream, he still hasn't really hit his stride on that Widowmaker or McCree. So that's kind of like the downside of Dafran. He's got incredible tracking, but like his flick aiming isn't as good. I'm sure he's working on it though, and maybe he's getting better at it in scrims. We don't know exactly. All we can really go off is his stream so far. But that's pretty much it for this. I do think Dafran is one of the best trackers going into the Overwatch League, and he might be the best of all time. Looking at his stream play, it's incredible. It's insane. And if he could do that in the Overwatch League, he is no doubt going to be one of the best. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to drop a like on it. Every like really helps support the channel. And it still seems like we're not getting that many likes, guys. So if you love my content and you like finishing my videos every day, do me a quick favor. It's super easy. Just slap a like on the video real quick. I really appreciate it. I love all of you guys. Thank you for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.